What if going to therapy doesn't make you a better person? What if it just makes you better at justifying who you already are? That's the uncomfortable question The Sopranos forces us to face. On the surface, The Sopranos is a crime drama, but underneath, it's a deep psychological and philosophical study of one man, Tony Soprano. A mob boss, a father, a patient in therapy, and, more than anything, a man at war with himself. Tony lives in constant contradiction. He wants to be a good person, but continues to do terrible things. This is what psychology calls cognitive dissonance. When your actions and beliefs don't match, your mind creates excuses to reduce the discomfort. Instead of changing his behavior, Tony changes his story. He reframes violence as business. He justifies betrayal as survival. Therapy, instead of fixing him, often becomes a tool to sharpen these justifications. You can even break Tony down using Freud's model. His impulses, his need for power and pleasure, his guilt, his sense of family and morality, and the part of him trying to balance both. Tony's panic attacks aren't random, they're the result of that internal conflict. His mind collapsing under the pressure of who he is versus who he thinks he should be. Here's where philosophy comes in. Think about existentialism, the idea that we define ourselves through our choices. Tony knows what he's doing is wrong, he's self-aware, he reflects, he talks about it in therapy, but he still doesn't change. So the show asks a brutal question: is self-awareness enough to change who you are? Or are we trapped by our nature, our habits, and our environment? Tony represents a kind of philosophical pessimism, the idea that people rarely change, even when they understand themselves. Over time, Tony becomes more articulate, more reflective, but not more moral. He evolves psychologically, but not ethically. And that's the tragedy. The show suggests that therapy doesn't automatically lead to growth. Sometimes it just gives you better language to defend your flaws. The Sopranos isn't just about crime, it's about the human condition. It shows us how easy it is to lie to ourselves, how hard it is to truly change, and how self-awareness doesn't always lead to redemption. Tony Soprano doesn't fail because he doesn't understand himself. He fails because understanding isn't enough.